special.
In much of the world, America was special and essential to the future of those countries devastated by war.
Europe had waged suicidal war upon itself. There was England, and it was a victor, but it was exhausted. France was a victor, but it was humiliated. Soviet Union was a victor, but it had lost 20 million people.
The magnitude of Soviet losses would leave that nation determined never to be so vulnerable again.
For ordinary people, it was tremendous tragedy, because in every Russian family there was somebody killed at the front. Officers and soldiers returned to burned out villages. People began to dig up inside the earth little holes like foxholes. And the whole family, sometimes of 6, lived in this earth house.
In the two aggressor nations which had begun the war, the future looked extremely uncertain.
Germany was defeated, and it was going to be cut right in half. And Japan had been, just as in Churchill's phrase, ground powder. And in that, we'd been brought kicking and screaming to the zenith of our power.
With troops now stationed in 20 countries around the world, America's historic isolationism was over. "400,000 GIs were sent to occupy Japan. They were under the command of General Douglas MacArthur, one of the architects of the Japanese defeat. The Japanese were allowed to keep their emperor, Hirohito, but absolute imperial rule was over. The United States wrote a new Japanese constitution. In Japan, America was the sole occupying force. In Europe, it was America and the Soviet Union. And this ideological struggle between them would be played out on a continent beset by chaos.
I made my way eventually through Mannheim, where I was born. And as I made my way through Germany, I realized the total destruction that had taken place in that country. Displaced persons walking all over, from the east to the west, from the west to the east. Large cities bombed out, ruins.
In the homeland of the once powerful and terrifying Third Reich, people now battled one another on the streets for bread.
There was absolutely nothing to eat, so they rummaged in garbage cans. If I think of my father rummaging in garbage cans, it's terrible.
People without jobs, people without homes, children without parents. It was a nightmare. It was hideous. And one of the coldest winters on record came down on Europe.
There are a lot of children who didn't have any Christmas. We had a big Christmas party for them. I played Santa Claus. I remember bringing those little kids up and sitting them on my lap, and the happy faces and the smiles, very rewarding.
The only real force was the Allied military government. That was the power. The country had come to a standstill. There was total anarchy in the